Hello, I'm Dr. James Bogash, expert in health and longevity, as well as creator of Bogash Life and Balance. And as a practicing chiropractor for over 2 decades, starting my 23rd year, this particular study really strikes home, and it's something that I have a conversation with all the time. And it has to do with early imaging. And I find that there's a lot of providers out there that order MRI way too soon. Definitely before any conservative care trial has been started, and that completely flies in the recommendations of almost every medical journal on the topic of medical imaging that we can find. Part of that may be driven by the patient. I have a lot of times that patients come in, they think that an MRI is the exact answer to what they need, and that's rarely the case. Somebody will come in and they've got raging pain down the right leg, and it turns out their primary care doctor does an MRI and they've got a disc bulge on the left. And it makes no sense to what symptoms they're having. So there's no harm in having an MRI, right? But that's not even close to true, because we've seen studies in the past where MRI increases the risk of having an epidural and then increasing the risk of later having surgery. Well, the MRI doesn't do anything, but it does put something in your brain that there's something broken, that maybe I need something interventionally to fix that. So in this particular study, researchers looked at 406,000 people. So that's a lot of people with back pain. And they looked at those people who had an early MRI within 6 weeks, so with no red flags. And I'll list some of the red flags in the description. But there were no red flags, and they found that the people who had an early MRI were 13 times more likely to later get surgery. They were more likely to need opioids. They were more likely to have a higher pain score, and the costs were 30% higher. It's not counting the MRI, it's counting everything else that went into that. So our office is very conservative with ordering imaging. There are certain times and places that we definitely order them when needed. Unfortunately, when we order an MRI, I've had a couple of the past few MRIs that I've ordered, it's a good thing we ordered them, but unfortunately there were some things on there that was more involved than we would have hoped for. But that happens, and so keep in mind that if your primary care doctor or somebody else is ordering an MRI before you've had a trial of care, so say 4 to 6 weeks of improving with treatment, then you should not have an MRI. It's too soon, and even if insurance covers it, I mean, it's always a lovely one, it still has a tendency to put things in people's head that maybe I'm broken, and ultimately I might need something like drugs, injections, or even surgery. And the data now just becomes even clearer that puts people on a trajectory to increase the need for things they probably don't need in the long run. So the real answer is to find a good chiropractor and somebody who's very conservative with imaging and is only going to order one when one is needed to be ordered. As always, I'll post a link to this study in the description. Make sure you like this video, share it with somebody who you think needs the information, and subscribe to the channel.